and welcome to our Google Hangout. Today we are speaking to Peter Cameron from the Media and Digital Literacy class at Lakehead University in Orillia. We're looking forward to learning from Peter and the expertise that he has gained over working with video and storytelling in his classroom. So we'll ask our participants to introduce themselves first, and then we'll end with Peter so he can talk to us about some of his experiences before we ask some questions. So we'll start with first participant.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Scott from Lakehead University, surprisingly.
Hi, I'm Jessica Filipposi, also from Lakehead.
Hi, I'm Hillary Lava, also from Lakehead.
And my name is Graydon Ivan, and I'm also from Lakehead.
Hi, my name is Katie. Oh, it's Graydon's face.
You're still muted.
No, I unmuted myself. Hi. Hello. I see you. My name is Katie from Lakehead University.
And okay, so we will come back to you. Peter, if you could take away and just talk about some of the experiences you've had with video and digital storytelling.
Sure. So I'm Peter Cameron. I'm happy to join your class via this Google Hangout, and it's all a learning experience for each one of us, not just for the students. We're all students in this, and kudos to Helen for taking this on. As far as video in my classroom, I use it in all different sorts of ways, but I think the important thing to realize is that you start small. It doesn't have to be a big production. It doesn't have to be polished. It's simply, really, for me, it's all about the voice and what the students are saying. So it starts for me, and it's on my website as well. It's more of a scaffolded approach, and it's all about what they're saying. So when they're focused on what they're saying, then you have the writing component come into it. And when they're actually listening to their voice and they're looking at their script, then they're actually reading as well, and they're hearing their reading for the first time. So it's more, for me, it's more than just video. It's a really strong piece for writing and reading and digital literacy. So how do I use it? I guess number one, for having the kids just actually reflect on their writing. So if they're doing a piece of writing, say a descriptive paragraph, have them voice record simply using something as easy as QuickTime, and then have the kids listen to their writing, and by doing so, they're actually now they're able to self-assess, and for the first time they're working on their reading as well. And so then what I find happens is when they know that they're going to publish it, then what happens is that the kids will then go back and make their writing better and also make their reading better. And then from there we can go into more video with visuals. I like to have the kids, if they're going to be sharing it on the internet, which you have to obviously be very cognizant about. If you saw the character education videos that they made, they drew their own images. It wasn't about them, it was about their imaging. So in their drawing, they actually digitally enhance their drawings as well. So if you take a look at it, and I'm not sure if you saw those character education videos, but it's their drawings, but they're not wasting a lot of time drawing. The drawings that they're using are doing it really on a small piece of paper. Then they take a picture of their drawings and they can digitally enhance their drawings. Then, you know, as you scaffold the video productions, then you can add in the bells and whistles, such as the music and the transitions and whatnot. But really, it all comes back to the voice. And then just finally, to add to that, I would use video production myself to kind of share with the parents what we're doing in the classroom as well. So some of the big projects like our Gift for Christmas Challenge or K-Cups for Classrooms. And the parents get to actually come and see, even though they're not directly involved in the classroom, it brings them to the classroom. And the parents get to actually come and see, even though they're not directly involved in the classroom, it brings them to the classroom.
I'm just going to mute the viewing screen. Thank you, Peter. We have a number of questions the students have developed from looking at your blog site and taking a look at some of the work that you've done. One of our groups is not able to connect with us, so we'll move directly to Rebecca as the first question.
Am I unmuted now? Did I do it? Yes, I did it. Okay, cool. So mine's kind of a two-parter question there, Peter. So it's, what is or was your biggest fear or challenge you have had with incorporating technology into the classroom? And then what's also your biggest accomplishment or your proudest moment?
Great questions, Rebecca. So the biggest fear of integrating technology into the classroom for me was change. I taught grade 6 for 15 years and basically taught old school out of the textbook, and I thought I was doing things really well, and I probably was, but if we're innovating, we're always looking for ways to do things better. And so for me, it was the fear of change and the fear of the unknown, but change only makes us better, and we have to be better for our kids as well. And my biggest accomplishment using technology in the classroom, I would say, would be two. One is the Gift for Christmas Challenge, where my students and I took a project that we did, which is just a yard sale, and then we go shopping to the shelter house. But we built a website and challenged other people to do good for Christmas as well. That's on my website. And then, we shared a video, and we received accolades from the Minister of Education, the Premier of Ontario, and it is about the kids, but also, that website was viewed in over 100 countries, and the kids can see that as well. We were interviewed by a radio station in Budapest, and over 100 people to date have contributed to our website, sharing what they do for Christmas, and so what my kids have empowered them to do and to share. And then the other one would be the K-Cups for Classrooms, where we took, and that's also on the website, we took K-Cups where we were volunteering at the shelter house, and we saved 800 K-Cups and decided to use them in the classroom. So we used them in the classroom and actually realized that they're an incredible math manipulative. Really have been a game changer for me. My kids created a video, we shared it. It's been viewed over 3,000 times, and we were interviewed by CBC News, and we were on As It Happens, and I think for me the biggest one was that the kids were featured in the Owl magazine. Owl got a hold of us and took a picture of the kids and featured them. So it was, and it is, so for me, it's the accomplishments are about the kids and what we're doing to empower the kids.
Talk about connectivism right there. That's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing. And I don't know who has question 3, but Helen's busy with something else. So.
I guess that's me. So do you ever use Google Hangouts to keep parents informed or to hold parent-teacher conferences or anything like that?
That's a good question. And at this point, no. I haven't connected with the parents on Google Hangouts. And getting a little bit of lag time there. But who knows? I think it can be a valuable tool, but I'd have to think about that as well. Anything that I do as far as Google Hangouts goes is you have to be reflective, and it has to make sense for you first. You have to be comfortable. There is risk taking, you know, and we talk about the innovator and the innovative mindset and being a risk taker, but it's calculated risks, and always, I would say, with the student's best interest in mind first. However, now having said that, we use Google Hangouts, as you've seen a lot in the classroom, to connect my students with people throughout the world, which has been incredibly powerful. And what my students do is they'll tell their parents that we're doing a Google Hangout with an explorer, say in Australia, an adventure photographer. So they go home and tell their parents, they show them a little teaser video, and they'll discuss with their parents as to who we're meeting, and then they will make up questions with their parents, and the students will ask the questions on kind of their parents' behalf. So it's bringing them into the classroom as well. But have I done interviews or discussions? No, but it might be something we look at. Did you guys hear that?
Hi, Peter.
Hillary?
So my question for you is, we've been very fortunate in a lot of our placements to have technology to introduce digital storytelling if it's appealing to what we're teaching. However, what would you suggest would be ways to still introduce digital storytelling if the technology isn't available?
That is a very good question. Yeah. And sometimes you just have to think, so if there is no technology available, how would you do digital storytelling? Well, you don't have access, so I don't know if we could even call it digital storytelling. But I guess what I would say is the appeal to video storytelling is to have the students have their voice heard beyond their classroom, right? So, and when they're writing for a larger audience, the engagement is stronger and they feel more empowered. So I would suggest maybe then having the kids write a story for a younger class and have the kids then do their story. It could be exactly the same way. They could have, if you kind of look at how I did my character education videos, they have simply, you know, pictures. So you have the kids, my kids had a script to go with that. They have their pictures, turn it into a little booklet, and go in and explain their booklet to a younger grade. There's a, yeah, and you know what, I've done that. I've done that before, you know, technology, and you know what, that probably is just as effective, if not more.
All right. So I guess what my question would be is, what sorts of tech or software knowledge would have to be taught to the students before digital storytelling creation can take place? Just because I know some of the students may not necessarily, have used programs like iMovie or maybe audio editing software. So like how much prep time would you need for to teach all that material to them before you actually start having them make digital stories?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, it's all about scaffolding. So our school is very thoughtful in the way that we use technology, and I would say that the younger kids use technology. They have the iPads, and you know, it's not a matter of throwing the kids on an app. And this, as far as I'm concerned, this is not engagement. Just because the kids are quiet and they're not saying anything, I don't know if we can call that engagement. It's more of what they're doing to create. And yeah, so what we do is, I know we have our younger kids using an app such as Explain Everything, right? So they're used to hearing their voice. An application such as Explain Everything is simply a voice recording and a screen recording at the same time. So we kind of scaffold that as well. It's important if you can have all of the staff on the same page. Maybe in grade 2, the kids are using Explain Everything. That's in their toolbox, and then in grade 3, perhaps they're making podcasts, whereas podcasts are simply voice recordings, because the kids have to understand, if you just introduce them to iMovie without a very thoughtful and modeled way to do it, you're going to get a lot of bells and whistles and not a lot of content, right? So you're going to get the I've been there, done that, but that's okay. So you keep those as well, and you model what you expect a good production or an iMovie would look like. So I would say it is scaffolded, and you can start the scaffolding right at a very young age, say in kindergarten. And then the other thing is too, as well, is we have learning goals for even building iMovies, and think about how much actually we're talking in there as well, right? So not only is there success criteria for building the iMovie, which is your media literacy component, there's success criteria for the art component as well, for them to build their visuals. There's the success criteria for the writing and the success criteria for the reading, right? And so when you give the criteria for success, they end up typically being successful. The other thing I would add to that as well is it's a matter of giving feedback throughout the whole video production process, right? Starting with the writing, their ideas, the writing, and a constant feedback cycle throughout. If you're giving them feedback after they're done writing, it's too late. So really, for me, it's, okay, boys and girls, your first slide is going to be your introduction. You're going to introduce in your character education video what it is you're trying to teach them. So everybody writes that, then they all share, and they give one another feedback. So it starts with their writing, and then from there, it's the constant feedback cycle. If I give my students feedback on their video after they've produced it, it's too late, right? They're not going to go back and edit it then. So really, the productions that you saw, they're all quality work. I'm not gonna say whether or not they're 3s or 4s. It was their best work. It was something that they were satisfied with, but it happened because of the constant modeling and feedback.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I was just wondering how much time you would commit to a unit on digital storytelling.
I'm in the dark, eh? Can you even see me? Sorry, it's getting dark here in Thunder Bay. I'll move. Apologize for that. There we go. Can you hear me? How much time would I commit to digital storytelling? Well, if you think about all the expectations that you're hitting in digital storytelling, it's not really just about the digital component, right? You are covering, within writing, you're covering the overall expectation, you're covering, instead of me going into all the expectations that you're covering a ton. So you're doing a huge writing piece, you're doing lots of reading, lots of media literacy. The art is combined in there as well. So the question, I guess, is how, I'll give you an example. If you're familiar with the character education videos, start to finish, about 2.5 weeks. Yeah, 2.5 weeks of an hour block. So we would have the technology for 45 minutes of that block. Yeah, so you're looking, for me, about 2.5 weeks. I'll also add as well that when you're teaching iMovies, or when you're modeling it, so you're teaching them actually how to make an iMovie, I would suggest having a QuickTime screen recording ahead of time. So if you're teaching iMovie, on a Mac. I'm not familiar with PCs, but guaranteed you can, whatever platform you're using, you can take a screen recording, right? So you're teaching them how to do whatever it is they're doing, but you've done it ahead of time. So you've recorded it, so you're doing a screen recording, and then you can move around the classroom and be actually standing at the back of the classroom. Your hands are free of the computer because they're just watching your instructional video, if that makes sense. I do have some screen recordings on the website as well. You know what? I'll tweet them to you. It'll give you a good example. So I do something a lot simpler, which is just a name Wordle for students. So they're building a Wordle in Smart Notebook. So I'll if you see Smart Name Wordle, it'll give you an example of a screen recording as well. But start to finish, yeah, a project like that, 2.5 weeks. But it's hard. You have to have an idea, but you can't just, you have to be flexible as well, and you can't push through something like that. Some classes are quicker than others.
Okay, any final words or thoughts for these students, or my students, as they head out to their second placement, and with the hope that maybe they will try some type of media-rich project with their students? Some words of caution or words of inspiration that you could share with them.
This is, when you go to placement, it's your chance to learn, okay? And you should be taking risks. That's the only way you'll learn. So don't be afraid to fail. When I was going through Teachers College many years ago, I didn't want to fail. So I was very well prepared, but it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's not supposed to be perfect, but you do have to be prepared, and you have to be very thoughtful. So be prepared, but don't worry about being perfect. You're supposed to make mistakes. Having said that as well, embrace the technology that the kids are, those students that you'll be teaching are the digital natives. This is how they learn. So, and this is the whole point of Connect Ed as well. For 15 years, I never used technology in the classroom, and because we didn't have the technology. So just embrace it, have fun with it, and let the kids teach you as well. It's a totally different world and a totally different learning environment that I went through and that I also taught in as well. So be a learner with them as well, and have fun.
I just want to extend my thanks, Peter, for joining us tonight. I think, have learned a lot, and you'll get a chance to see some of the reflections. If you go to the course website, the link I sent you, we have a Padlet board that we're going to put some thoughts down on about this conversation and the process of having a Google Hangout, as well as the words and expertise around video production with students. So I thank you very much, Peter. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us.
My pleasure, and thank you. It's fun learning with you as well, and good luck to all of you. You'll do great.
Thanks.